There are days that feel eternal. Days that glow with warmth, laughter, and innocence, completely unaware that they are the last. The screen fades into a quiet fishing village near Busan. The morning sun reflects gently off the rolling waves. Villagers walk along wooden planks, carrying baskets of fish. Children run freely, laughing barefoot along the shore. Among them is 8-year-old Jiho, holding a small wooden toy boat his father carved for him. His father, Han Min-jun, is a strong but gentle man with tired eyes. His mother, Lee Sua, is a village schoolteacher who believes the world is still kind. Inside their small home, Jiho's mother adjusts his collar while laughing softly. The day felt ordinary. But sometimes, the ordinary is the most precious. Jiho's father teaches him to tie fishing knots. His mother braids his hair with a smile. Their joy is simple and fleeting. As the sun begins to set, a strange silence falls over the village. A pair of fishermen whisper to each other while looking at a black van parked just beyond the hill. A symbol is printed on its side. A black dragon, coiled, red-eyed, menacing. But no one tells Jiho's parents. The last peaceful day ends quietly. Rain begins as night falls. The wooden houses creak softly under the shifting wind. Jiho finishes dinner, laughing at a small joke from his father. Then, a knock. Hard. Sharp. Wrong. His father goes still. His mother's hands freeze mid-motion. They exchange a look, fearful, resigned. Jiho, come here. He lifts a floorboard and reveals a small hiding space beneath the house, and said to Jiho, "No matter what you hear, don't come out. Not even if I call you." Jiho's heart races. Jiho, Papa, what's happening? His father forces a smile. His mother kisses his forehead, tears already in her eyes. The moment the floorboard shuts, the door breaks inward. Black Dragon soldiers flood the room. Shouts, gunshots, screams, furniture breaking. Jiho watches everything through thin cracks in the floor. He sees a heavy leather boot stomp across the floor inches from his face. He sees the tattoo, a black dragon's head with glowing red eyes. A man steps forward. He is tall, broad-shouldered, with silver hair and a cold expression. The man is Kong Dee-sung, the leader of the Black Dragons. He says just 3 words. "In the traitor." A gunshot. His father falls. His mother screams. Another gunshot silences her. Jiho presses his hand against his mouth to keep himself from crying out. Then, the fire starts. The flames move quickly, eating the home like a living creature. Smoke fills the air under the floor. Jiho pushes the back panel open and escapes into the rain as the house collapses behind him. He runs until his legs give out. He runs until the screams in his head stop being loud and start becoming permanent. That night, the boy named Jiho died, and something else was born. Jiho wanders the forest for 2 days. Rain soaks his clothes. Cold wind slices through his bones. He eats berries, drinks from puddles, sleeps under trees. Animals skitter around him at night. He hugs himself, shaking from fear and cold. Eventually, he collapses near a roadside trail. A traveling merchant, Mr. Choi, finds him. He tries to ask where Jiho's parents are. Jiho just stares blankly. Trauma has stolen his voice. Mr. Choi takes him to Seoul. Jiho is fed, given a blanket. But trauma isolates him. He doesn't talk, doesn't play, doesn't cry. Eventually, the crowded world of Seoul pushes him away. He becomes one of the invisible children, sleeping under bridges, digging through trash, stealing stale bread from markets. Older boys beat him. Police chase him. Life becomes a daily fight for survival. And yet, he lived. Because somewhere deep inside, the fire that took his parents had lit a spark of purpose. One evening, starving, Jiho attempts to steal a wallet from an elderly man in a long gray coat. The man grabs his wrist instantly, faster than Jiho expected. His name is Mr. Huang. The man kneels and asks him, "Someone taught you to move like that?" "Who?" Jiho says nothing. He tries to pull away, but the old man doesn't let go. Instead, he takes him to his home. The house is small but filled with maps, books, knives, old military gear, training equipment. Mr. Huang is a retired intelligence strategist. Quiet, observant, intimidating. He feeds Jiho warm soup, places a blanket over him, watches him sleep beside the fireplace. The next morning, Jiho tries to leave, But Mr. Huang stops him gently. Running won't save you. If you want to survive, you train. Jiho doesn't speak, but he stays. And so began the second chapter of Jiho's life. The chapter where the broken boy met the man who would shape his destiny. Training begins. Not with violence, but with discipline. Jiho wakes at dawn every day to run hills. He learns to stand still for long periods without losing focus. He practices balance on wooden planks. Learns breathing techniques used by elite agents. Mr. Huang teaches him basic self-defense. Footwork, blocking, timing, precision, escaping holds. At first, Jiho is clumsy. He falls, fails, gets frustrated. But he keeps trying. Every fall becomes fuel. Every bruise becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes motivation. One night, after hours of exhausting drills, Jiho collapses onto the mat. Mr. Huang kneels beside him. Why do you keep pushing yourself like this? Jiho whispers for the first time in months. I don't want to be weak again. Mr. Huang looks at him quietly. For the first time, he sees not a child, but someone shaped by pain, driven by fire. And from that night onward, Mr. Huang did not train a boy. He forged a weapon. Jiho grows stronger with each passing year. He learns flexibility through acrobatics, endurance through mountain runs, dexterity through knife drills, silence through meditative breathing. Mr. Huang pushes him relentlessly, but not cruelly. He teaches him that true power is not muscle, but control. Control of emotions, mind, body, environment, fear. One day, after hours of sparring, Mr. Huang asks, "What do you want, Jiho?" Jiho tightens his fists and said, "I want to never feel helpless again." Mr. Huang nods once. Then you must become more than strong. You must become unseen. And so begins the next stage of training. Stealth. Jiho practices moving without sound, blending into shadows, watching people without being noticed, tracking footsteps, disappearing behind crowds. He was no longer the boy who hid beneath the floor. He was becoming the shadow that moved above it. One night, Jiho finds a box in Mr. Huang's study. Inside, old medals, photos of soldiers, files with classified stamps, a faded folder titled BDM, Black Dragon Mafia. Mr. Huang watches silently from the doorway. That name haunts more people than you know. Jiho's blood runs cold. Mr. Huang sits beside him. He shares the truth. The Black Dragon Mafia once worked with rogue intelligence agents before turning into a ruthless criminal empire. They thrive on assassination, human trafficking, gun smuggling, political corruption. Their leader, Kong Dae-sung, is feared across East Asia. Jiho's eyes fill with tears he refuses to shed. He killed my parents. Mr. Huang places a hand on his shoulder. And one day, you will face him. But not now. Not as a boy. Not even as a man. Only as a force he cannot stop. This moment marks a turning point. Jiho's training becomes more than survival. It becomes preparation. At 16, Jiho is ready to be introduced to the underworld. Mr. Huang brings him to a hidden underground headquarters beneath an abandoned warehouse. There he meets the Shadow Serpents, a secret syndicate that operates through strategy rather than violence. They control hidden intelligence networks, high-level information trafficking, covert operations, underground alliances. Their leader, Madame Yun, is a woman in her 50s with ice-cold eyes and a calm voice. She studies Jiho. Madame Yun asked, "Does he fear death?" Jiho answers before Huang can speak. "No, I fear being powerless." Madame Yun smiles faintly. "Good. Fear of pain makes weak men. Fear of weakness makes strong ones." Jiho is accepted instantly. He becomes the youngest member of the Serpents in over a decade. His first lessons aren't about violence. They're about understanding power. Madame Yun teaches him how to read a room, how to read lies, how to negotiate in silence, how to control people without touching them. This knowledge shapes him more deeply than combat ever could. Jiho stepped into the underworld not as prey, but as a pupil ready to learn the language of shadows. Jiho's first real assignment arrives at 17. A serpent handler named Dae-hyun gives him a simple mission. Follow a minor Black Dragon courier. Gather intel. Do not engage. Easy. Until it isn't. The courier notices he's being followed. A chase through narrow soul alleys begins. Jiho jumps fences, slides under trash bins, sprints through crowded streets. He finally corners the courier near a dead end. A fight breaks out. Jiho is fast, but inexperienced. He gets knocked down repeatedly. Blood fills his mouth. His ribs ache. But then he remembers Mr. Huang's words. Control. Jiho slows his breathing. Lets the enemy strike first. Watches his patterns. Times his movements. A counterattack. A sweep. A chokehold. The courier collapses unconscious. Jiho stands over him, trembling. Not from fear, but from understanding. It was the first time Jiho realized that pain could be useful. Dae-hyun appears from the shadows. Dhyun. You handled yourself well. Jiho wipes the blood from his lip. I can do better. And he means it. For the next 3 years, Jiho becomes an intelligent sponge. He learns high-level hacking from a reclusive serpent legend named Spectre, disguise techniques from Madame Yun, driving and vehicle evasion from a former race driver, hand-to-hand mastery from Mr. Huang, weapon specialization from underground arms dealers, linguistics from traveling merchants and foreign operatives, street psychology from watching Seoul's nightlife. He becomes fluent in Japanese, Mandarin, English, Russian, basic. He becomes an expert in body language, micro-expressions, tactical surveillance, escape routes, psychological pressure. He becomes feared by street gangs, rival syndicates, Black Dragon newcomers, even some serpents. But he never grows arrogant. He stays silent, calm, controlled. Madame Yun often watches him from afar and murmurs. His strength is not loudness. It is stillness. He was no longer the child running from fire. He was becoming the shadow preparing to return to it. Jiho is now 20. He has earned a reputation in the underground world. A reputation he never asked for, but one he cannot escape. Criminals whisper his name in fear. The ghost of Seoul. The boy no one sees coming. The serpent's shadow. He doesn't dress loudly. He doesn't speak loudly. He simply appears, does what he needs to do, and disappears again. Most of his missions involve stealing intel, tracking criminals, infiltrating meetings, collecting secrets, breaking corruption from the inside. He prefers not to kill. Not yet. Not until the right moment comes. One night, after a successful infiltration mission, Madame Yun visits him. Madame Yun, you know what separates a soldier from a leader? Jiho doesn't answer. Madame Yun, a soldier fights to survive. A leader fights to change the world. She hands him a sealed envelope. Inside are documents about a major Black Dragon operation. Madame Yun, it's time you stop being a shadow and start being a storm. Jiho closes the envelope slowly. He is ready. Jiho's next mission is one that will haunt him for years. A small group of young girls, ages 12 to 16, have gone missing in Busan. Rumors link them to the Black Dragon's trafficking network. Jiho infiltrates the network disguised as a security recruit. He follows the chain of information until he discovers a horrifying truth. The girls are being shipped in a sealed container at night. He waits at the docks, blending in with the shadows. Rain pours heavily, masking his presence. The container is loaded onto a truck. Jiho climbs onto the back silently, clinging to the metal. The truck drives deep into the industrial district. When it finally stops, he strikes. Fast, silent, precise. 2 guards fall unconscious before they even draw their weapons. Jiho breaks the lock and opens the container. Inside are 9 terrified girls. One girl, no older than 14, whispers, Are you a good person? Jiho hesitates. He's never thought of himself that way. Jaicho replied, I'm here to take you home. He escorts them safely to the Serpent Shelter Network. As they walk away, the same girl turns and says, Thank you, Ghost Man. For the first time in years, Jiho feels something warm inside his chest. He had spent years surviving for himself. But that night, he learned he could save others too. But saving the girls makes him a target. A big one. The next day, Jiho receives an unexpected message. A black envelope sealed with the Black Dragon symbol. Inside is a photograph of Jiho leaving the rescue site. And a single sentence. We know who you are. Jiho's eyes narrow. He has been careful, precise, invisible. For the Black Dragons to get his picture means someone very powerful is watching him. That night, a highly ranked serpent operative, Dae-hyun, visits Jiho with a grim expression. Dhyun. They've never sent a warning to a single man before. You've shaken something inside them. Jiho remains silent. Dehyn. This is dangerous. Even for you. Jiho closes the envelope and sets it on fire. The paper burns quickly. The symbol melts into ash. Jiho's voice is cold. Jiho. Good. Let them watch. Weeks later, Madame Yun summons him to Serpent HQ. The room is filled with tension. She slides a photo across the table. A man with scars across his face, a shaved head, and cruel eyes. Madame Yun. This is Kim Jae-gun, one of the Black Dragon's top lieutenants. He is known for two things: his brutality and his loyalty to Kang Dae-sung. Jiho studies the photo calmly. Madame Yun continues. Madame Yun. He is coming to Seoul to set a trap for whoever disrupted their human cargo operation. Jiho understands instantly. Jiho. He's coming for me. Madame Yun nods. Madame Yun. And if you're not careful, you won't survive the encounter. Jiho simply stands. Jiho. Where do I find him? Madame Yun sighs. She knows she cannot stop him. Madame Yun. Just remember, if you fall tonight, you fall alone. Jiho bows respectfully and said, I've always been alone. Night falls over Seoul. An abandoned textile factory becomes the battleground. Jiho arrives silently, slipping through broken windows and rusted beams. Inside, Kim Jae-gun waits, surrounded by armed men. But when Jiho steps into the moonlight, Jae-gun raises a hand. The guards withdraw. Jae-gun. So, you are the ghost of Seoul. Jiho says nothing. Jae-gun. You ruined a profitable operation. You made my boss look weak. For that, you die slowly. Jiho steps forward and said, talking wastes time. Jae-gun smiles. Jae-gun. Good. I like warriors with no fear. They fight. Brutal. Fast. Unforgiving. Jae-gun is strong. His blows heavy, crushing. Jiho is fast. His movements clean, precise, fluid. Steel clashes. Wood splinters. Blood hits the floor. At one point, Jae-gun slams Jiho into a metal beam. Jae-gun. You fight well for a child without a name. Jiho wipes the blood from his lip and said, I have a name. And one day, your boss will hear it. Their final clash ends with Jiho sweeping Jae-gun's legs and pinning him to the ground with a broken metal rod at his throat. Tell Kang. The fire he lit 20 years ago is still burning. Jiho leaves without killing him. Breaking the Black Dragon lieutenant's pride was more damaging than taking his life. After the battle with Kim Jae-gun, Jiho returns to Mr. Huang's home. He washes the blood from his hands in silence. Mr. Huang watches him from the doorway. Huang, are you alright? Jiho doesn't answer. He stares at his reflection in the mirror. His knuckles bruised. His lips bleeding. Blood splattered across his shirt. But what grips him most is the emptiness in his own eyes. Eyes that once sparkled with childhood wonder. Now cold. Sharp. Emotionless. Trauma doesn't disappear. It transforms. And in Jiho, it was shaping something dangerous and necessary. Jiho clenches the sink. Jiho. I fought him, and I felt nothing. Mr. Huang steps closer. Huang. Feeling nothing is not weakness. It is armor. Armor you will need to face what's coming. He places a hand on Jiho's shoulder. For a moment, Jiho closes his eyes. And for the first time, he allows himself to breathe. Days later, Jiho is summoned to a hidden underground chamber. The Serpent Council, the highest-ranking members, gather around a circular stone table. Madame Yun sits at the head. Her voice carries the weight of many years. Madame Yun. Jiho's actions have provoked the Black Dragons. Their lieutenant lives, but his pride does not. Another council member, Master Ryu, speaks. Ryu. We must be careful. A war with the dragons is not wise. But another, Sora, a former assassin, disagrees. Sora. A war will come whether we want it or not. Jiho has disrupted their trafficking routes. He has shamed their top lieutenant. They will not forgive this. Madame Yun turns to Jiho. Madame Yun, do you understand what you've started? Jiho meets her eyes. Jiho. They started it 20 years ago. A ripple of silence circles the table. Finally, Madame Yun places a red-marked file in front of him. Madame Yun, the dragons are planning something big. Something violent. We need someone who can slip into their operations undetected. She slides the file closer. Madame Yun, that someone is you. Jiho doesn't hesitate. He takes the file. Jai Cho. When do I begin? Meanwhile, inside a heavily guarded mansion in Busan, the Black Dragons gather. Kim Jae-gun stands in front of his boss, Kang Dae-sung. His head is lowered in shame. Kang's cold voice echoes through the room. Kang, you let him live. Jae-gun trembles. Jae-gun. He wasn't human. He fought like a ghost. Kang steps forward and grabs Jae-gun's jaw tightly. Kang, you disappoint me. He releases him, then turns to his soldiers. Kang, bring me everything you can find on this. Ghost of Soul. One soldier steps forward with a folder. Kang opens it. Inside is a blurry photo of Ji-ho from the docks during the human cargo rescue. Kang studies the picture carefully. His eyes narrow. Kang, there is something familiar about him. Jae-gun, trying to defend his pride, speaks. Jae-gun, I can track him down. I will kill him. Kang shakes his head. Kang, you tried once. You failed. This time, we hunt him with everything. He stands up. Kang, contact our informants. Our allies in Japan. Our mercenaries in the Philippines. Our silent partners in China. He looks at the photo again. His lips curl into a dark smile. Kang, this ghost wants a war? Then a war he shall receive. Ji-ho spends nights studying the file Madame Yun gave him. It contains Black Dragon financial networks, names of corrupt politicians, routes used for smuggling, underground casinos, secret shipping docks, high-ranking members, their territories in Busan, Daegu, and Seoul. But the part that makes Ji-ho's blood freeze is a section titled Project Foxfire, the Night of Retribution. The dragons are planning a massive explosion, political assassinations, human trafficking expansion, territory takeover, a strike against the serpents themselves. Ji-ho closes the file slowly. Every crime has a signature, and this one was written in blood. He begins infiltrating the dragons from the shadows. He bribes low-level members, sabotages shipments, spreads rumors to weaken morale, plants listening devices in meeting halls, interrogates traitors, tracks Kang's movements. He barely sleeps. Mr. Huang confronts him one night. Huang, you can't fight war with exhaustion. Ji-ho continues sorting through documents. Jai Cho, I'm not tired. Mr. Huang can see the truth. Ji-ho is burning himself alive to fuel his mission. Huang, you're becoming obsessed. Ji-ho finally looks at him. Jai Cho, I've been obsessed since I was 8. One evening, after returning from an infiltration mission, Ji-ho walks to the rooftop of the Serpent headquarters. He stares at the Seoul skyline. Lights flicker. Cars move like blood flowing through the city's veins. Sirens echo in the distance. Ji-ho closes his eyes. For a moment, he hears his mother's voice. Soft, gentle. Mother memory. My little Ji-ho, promise me you'll grow up to be kind. He hears his father's laughter. Feels their warmth. Then the flames return. The screams. The gunshots. The dragon tattoo. He opens his eyes sharply. The warmth vanishes. Everything feels cold again. He realizes something. He does not fear death. He does not crave power. He does not seek wealth. He seeks only one thing. Closure. He whispers to the wind. 20 years ago, you took everything. Now, I'm coming to take everything back. Ji-ho is now in his mid-20s. His intelligence, strategy, and terrifying calmness catch the attention of every high-ranking serpent. Madame Yun calls an emergency meeting. The council members take their seats. Ji-ho is called forward. Madame Yun. Ji-ho, you have done what no serpent dared to do. You infiltrated the Black Dragons, exposed their operations, and disrupted Project Foxfire. She rises to her feet. Madame Yun, for this, you are no longer a shadow. She places a black serpent emblem in his hand. Madame Yun, with this, you become a commander. The room falls silent. Even Master Ryu, known for his cold arrogance, nods in respect. Ji-ho bows slightly, but his voice remains calm. Jai Cho, a title means little. My mission remains the same. Madame Yun smiles faintly. Madame Yun, that is precisely why you deserve the title. The serpents strike their fists to their chests. Hail the silent serpent. And Ji-ho, for the first time in his life, realizes he is no longer alone. News spreads across the underworld. The Black Dragons declare open season on the serpents. Attacks erupt across Seoul. A serpent warehouse is ambushed at dawn. 2 safe houses are burned. 3 informants vanish. A serpent operative is found beaten and left at the harbor. A message carved into his arm. Return what you stole. The city trembles as tensions rise. Inside the Black Dragon mansion, Kong Daesung sharpens a blade while Jae-gun kneels before him. Calm. It seems this ghost has grown bold. Jae-gun grits his teeth. Jae-gun. He humiliated me. Let me fix it. Kong slowly turns his head. Calm. Not yet. The serpent boy is patient. We must be too. A courier rushes in with a USB drive. He hands it to Kong. Courier. Sir, we found something. Kong inserts it into a laptop. Security footage loads. Grainy, distorted. Of Ji-ho rescuing the 9 girls in Busan. Kong freezes. The way the boy moves. The look in his eyes. The cold silence. Memory stirs. A long-buried fragment. Kong whispers. No. It cannot be him. But a spark of doubt has already been lit. Among the serpents, Ji-ho grows closest to Dae-hyun, his longtime handler. A mentor. A big brother figure. A loyal friend. Dae-hyun is one of the few people who can make Ji-ho smile. Rare, soft, fleeting. One night, Dae-hyun receives intel that a Black Dragon lieutenant is meeting at a dock in Incheon. Ji-ho is out on another mission, so Dae-hyun goes alone. But it's a trap. Hours later, Ji-ho returns to headquarters and finds Madame Yun waiting, her face pale. Madame Yun. Ji-ho. Dae-hyun was captured. Time stops. Ji-ho feels the blood drain from his body. He goes to the docks immediately. He moves so silently. Even the guards don't hear him coming. But it's too late. Dae-hyun lies tied to a chair. Beaten. Bleeding. Barely breathing. Ji-ho unties him with trembling hands. Ghost, you shouldn't be here, said by Dhyun. Ji-ho's voice cracks for the first time in years. Jae-cho, I'm taking you home. Just hold on. Dae-hyun smiles painfully. Dhyun. You're a good man, Ji-ho. Don't let this world change that. Ji-ho stops. Dae-hyun closes his eyes. His head falls forward. Silent. Gone. Ji-ho's breath shatters. He bows his head, resting it against his fallen friends. A single tear falls. To lose someone once is tragedy. To lose someone twice is destiny. He stands. His voice low and deadly. Jae-cho. Kong Daesung. Your time is running out. That same night, in the Black Dragon mansion, Kong Daesung studies the footage again. He rewinds. Slows it down. Zooms in. The boy's stance. His movement. His eyes. Kang's heartbeat quickens. He stands abruptly. Calm. That boy. He looks just like. He rushes to a locked drawer. Inside is an old file. He flips through the pages until he finds it. A photograph of 8-year-old Ji-ho. Kong holds the 2 images side by side. The boy in the flames. And the ghost in the shadows. His hands tremble. Calm. Impossible. Jae-gun steps forward in confusion. Jae-gun. Boss, who is he? Kong slams the files shut. His voice is low. Furious. Shaken. Calm. He's the boy we failed to kill 20 years ago. Jae-gun's blood goes cold. Jae-gun. You mean, the child from Busan? Kong nods slowly. Calm. The boy with fire in his eyes. He survived. And now he wears the skin of a ghost. Silence fills the room. Kong turns to his men. Calm. Find him. Now. Ji-ho returns to Mr. Huang's home after carrying Dae-hyun's body back. He sits alone in the dark, still covered in blood. Mr. Huang sits beside him. Huang. I know what you're thinking. But revenge is a dangerous master. Ji-ho clenches his fists. Jae-cho. I'm tired of losing the people I care about. Mr. Huang sighs softly. Huang. You cannot protect everyone. But you can honor them. Ji-ho looks at the floor. His voice is barely above a whisper. Jae-cho. How? Mr. Huang puts a hand over his. Huang. By staying alive. Ji-ho doesn't respond. He stares at the blood dried on his hands. The room feels cold. Silent. Heavy. Grief does not break Ji-ho. It sharpens him. Ji-ho stands. Walks to the window. Looks out at the moonlit city. His heart hardens. His resolve solidifies. Jae-cho whispers. This ends now. The Black Dragons strike without mercy. Within a week, 2 serpent outposts are raided. A serpent strategist is kidnapped. Their communication channels are hacked. Their money trails are seized. 3 safe houses burn in a single night. The streets of Seoul tremble. People whisper that a hidden war is unfolding. A war fought in alleyways, rooftops, night markets, shipping docks, and abandoned factories. Madame Yun calls an emergency meeting. Her voice trembles, not out of fear, but out of urgency. Madame Yun, the Black Dragons want extinction, not negotiation. Serpents argue amongst themselves. Some want to retreat. Some want to counterattack. Some want to negotiate. Some want vengeance. Jiho remains silent. Until finally, he stands. The room goes quiet. Jiaicho, we don't run. We don't hide. We don't bargain. He walks toward the center of the room. Jiaicho, we strike. Not as shadows, but as a storm. The serpents rise with him. The war officially begins. Jiho infiltrates a hidden warehouse outside Taegu, rumored to hold information on Project Foxfire. Inside, he finds blueprints, bomb schematics, chemical samples, shipping logs, encrypted drives. He plugs the drives into a stolen laptop. Files begin to decrypt. A video loads. A Black Dragon scientist speaks. Project Foxfire, scheduled to begin in 22 days. Objective: create chaos through coordinated explosions in Seoul. Targets: political summit, subway station, Serpent headquarters, public market, foreign embassy. Casualties projected, 800 to 2,000. Jiho's breath stops. He scrolls farther. Another file. Kidnapping of government official's child. The plan is barbaric, monstrous, designed to cripple the nation. Then Jiho finds something that chills him to the bone. A list titled, Primary Targets for Elimination. He scrolls. Halfway down the list, he sees his own name. He closes the laptop. His voice is cold. It ends now, Kong. Inside the Black Dragon mansion, Kong Daesung receives troubling news. Jae Gun rushes into his office. Jae Gun, boss, Project Foxfire has been compromised. Kong slams his fist into the desk. Kong, that boy. Then something else happens. One of his top advisors enters the room, trembling. He hands Kong a DNA report. Advisor, we discovered something unusual about the ghost. Kong tears open the envelope. He reads the first line. His eyes widen. His entire body stiffens. Kong, whispering, this can't be. He reads again, slower. The DNA match confirms it. Jiho is Han Minjun's son. The boy Kong tried, and failed, to kill 20 years ago. The ghost that haunts him now is the child he left alive. Kang's breath shakes. For the first time in decades, fear creeps into his eyes. Kong. So the past returns to collect its debt. Madame Yun summons Jiho. Her tone is different, urgent, heavy. Madame Yun, the council has voted. Jiho raises an eyebrow. Madame Yun, you will become the new head of the Shadow Serpents. Silence fills the room. Even the air seems to freeze. Jiho shakes his head. Jiaicho, I seek revenge, not power. Madame Yun steps close. Her eyes soften, something rare for her. Madame Yun, you don't seek power. That's why you deserve it. Jiho looks away. Jiaicho, this path ends with my blood. She lifts his chin gently. Madame Yun, or with his. Jiho exhales slowly. He understands now. This isn't just about him. It's about the girls he saved, the agents he lost, the serpents who trust him, the memory of his parents, the promise of a peaceful world, the blood spilled across decades. He nods. Jiaicho, I accept. Madame Yun bows deeply. For the first time in her life. Madame Yun, long live the Serpent King. Jiho gathers the serpent soldiers. He stands before them, tall, calm, fearless. Jiaicho, tonight, we end 20 years of suffering. He opens a map. Points to a heavily guarded mansion in Busan. Jiaicho, Kong Daesung is waiting. He believes I'm afraid. He folds the map. He is wrong. The serpents nod in silent unity. Jiho leads them into the night. Toward Busan. Toward his childhood village. Toward the man who created his nightmares. The Black Dragon mansion is surrounded. Guards patrol the walls. Snipers watch from towers. Kong sits inside, sipping tea with a trembling hand. Kong, come little ghost. Show me what you've become. At midnight, the lights go out. Doors silently open. Guards vanish into the night. Explosions echo in the distance. Smoke rises. The serpents move like shadows. Silent. Coordinated. Deadly. Jiho infiltrates through a broken skylight. Inside the mansion halls, he disarms 2 guards. silences another with a throat strike, breaks a rifle in half, moves with terrifying precision. He reaches Kang's office. The door is locked. Jiho kicks it open. The final confrontation begins. Kang stands in the center of the room. No guards. No weapons drawn. Only a pistol holstered at his side. He stares at Jiho. Long. Cold. Speechless. Calm. You grew up. Jiho's jaw tightens. Jiaicho, you didn't expect that, did you? Kang laughs softly. Kang, when I killed your father, he begged for your life. Jiho's hands tremble with fury. Jiaicho, you murdered my family. Kang shakes his head slowly. Kang, no. Your father murdered himself. He betrayed us. I simply delivered the consequence. Jiho steps closer. His voice drops to a whisper. Jiaicho, and now, I deliver yours. The fight explodes. Kang draws his pistol. Jiho knocks it away. They clash. Punches. Kicks. Broken furniture. Blood. Sweat. Pain. Kang is older, but stronger than expected. Jiho is younger, faster, sharper. They fight like two storms colliding. Finally, Jiho gets the upper hand. He pins Kang to the ground. Breathing hard. Blood dripping. Hands shaking. Kang coughs. Kang, do it. Finish your story. Jiho raises his blade, but stops. His breath shakes. He sees flashes. His mother's smile. His father's laugh. Daehyun's encouragement. Mr. Huang's lessons. Jiho closes his eyes, then says something Kang never expected. Jiaicho, I'm nothing like you. He drops the blade. Kang stares up in disbelief. Jiho turns away, but Kang grabs a hidden knife and lunges. Jiho reacts in a split second. A final, precise strike. Kang collapses. The dragon dies. Jiho walks out of the mansion. The serpents bow their heads as he passes. He doesn't speak, doesn't smile, doesn't celebrate. He walks to the quiet shore of his old village. The waves greet him softly. The wind whispers through the empty landscape. He kneels and places his mother's hairpin, his father's broken belt buckle, into the sand. He whispers, I kept my promise. He lights a lantern, sets it on the water. It drifts away slowly, carrying the pain of 20 years. Jiho returns to Seoul. He dissolves the serpent operations involved in violence, transforms the network into one that protects the vulnerable, takes down human trafficking routes, breaks corruption chains, frees those trapped in the shadows. He becomes a silent guardian, a whisper, a myth, a shadow that brings justice. People begin calling him something new. The Serpent King, the ghost who saved us, the man who defeated the dragon. But Jiho doesn't care for names. He only walks forward, leaving footprints no one can follow. Some heroes rise in daylight. Others rise from darkness. A boy who lost everything became a man who saved more than he ever knew. Jiho was not born a legend. He was forged by fire, shaped by silence, and strengthened by shadows. Silent, calm, at peace. And somewhere in the wind, one last whisper remains. Jiaicho, I survived.